about this.
Good points, very nice. See, we are not pessimistic, we are realistic. Correct, no? Like if, say, for example, you tell your friend, hey, day after tomorrow is our exam. Now it's a high time we start, very in a focused way, start studying. He says, hey, why are you so negative? You are thinking about exams. Chala, I will go for a movie and come if somebody says, So is that person very positive? He's simply cheating himself because exam is a reality. It's going to come. So why don't you face the reality rather than hide away from it? Like Prabhupada said the example of the ostrich. Ostrich was running slowly and tiger was coming fastly. So what the ostrich did? He put his head inside a hole and said, tightly shut the, he said, the whole world is dark now. I have nothing to worry about the tiger. I don't think tiger will come behind me because right now I see only pitch dark world. So that is only his figment of his own imagination. And the tiger will catch him from behind and drag him out and eat him up, isn't it? So therefore, we are not pessimistic. We are realistic. Yeah, realistic means we discuss the reality of life. It's an unchangeable reality in this world. Everybody's body gets diseased, old. And not only that, and in case we are talking about the reality without a solution, like the Buddhists, for example. The Buddhists talk about how horrible this material body. They even smell the dead corpse and all that. In order to understand the futility and the nastiness of the material body. As a part of their meditation, they do that. So if you have gone to see some dead body beyond 6 hours, if you don't put ice and other things, body starts stinking very badly. So Buddhists smell the stinking and they realize that I should not desire to enjoy this body. But we are not like that. We have actually a positive alternative. In Krishna consciousness, you will see that. For example, we say our body is getting old or disease. So what do we say? So you better don't take birth again. Correct, no? Instead, you get a spiritual body. And then there is a vast information about the spiritual world and spiritual body and spiritual activities. Rishikena, Rishikesha Sevanam, in relation to the Lord, and how you can actually do the, what do you call it, make the best out of bad bargain, we say. With this nasty material body, what can we do? We can engage it in Krishna service and purify it. So you can use the same body like iron rod put in fire. You can spiritualize this body. Or you can use this body for sense gratification and again keep taking birth on old age and disease. Correct, no? So this is very important. Whenever you talk about some realistic problems of life, you should also have a solution to it. Krishna consciousness is a very complete package. It is not pessimistic, it is realistic, and it gives solution. And to come out to the real problems of life, like birth, old age, disease, and death. These are undeniable problems. You can see it happening. There is one verse which says, I'll just show you 1 minute. Say this verse. It's very beautifully right there. Read this, huh?
Caught in a network of impious activities, they drift further and further away from their original pure consciousness and gradually lose all power to understand the laws of nature. Therefore, it is stated here, Sarvato Mrityuh. Mrityu means death. Death suddenly appears, startling such confident sense gratifiers and destroys their entire program of so-called material happiness. Often such persons are afflicted with ghastly desires and diseases and undergo inconceivable suffering which ends in death. If a sincere well-wisher points these facts out to them, trying to inform them of the reality, they become angry and accuse him of being a pessimist or a religious fanatic. In this way, they blindly ignore the laws of nature until these laws inevitably smash them down and drag them out of their fool's paradise. Because of an excessive accumulation of sinful results, they are forced into situations of great distress by the laws of karma. Sinking down into the lower species of life, they lose all awareness of that which lies beyond their gross material senses.
Correct, na? It's very beautiful purport. The verse is also very, very special verse. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Yeah, everybody want to be materially comfortable. See, this is the verse. Please repeat this. Ko nurajanyandivan mukunda charanambujam na bhajet sarvato mrityur upasyam amarottamaihi.
My dear king, in the material world, the conditioned souls are confronted by death at every step of life. Therefore, who among the conditioned souls would not render service to the lotus feet of Lord Mukunda, who is worshipable even for the greatest of liberated souls?
So that was using Sarvato Mrityu. a beautiful verse. Konurajan Indriyaman Mukunda Charanambujam Nabajet Sarvato Mrityu Upasyam Amarottamahi. So, those people who do not worship Lord Mukunda, Nabajet Sarvato Mrityu, wherever they turn around, they find death after death after death. It means birth, death, birth, death. They keep going through it. But those who are Mukunda Charanambujam, they become Amarottamas, liberated souls. Okay. Therefore, Siddhartha, as a prince, he saw old people walking on the road and he asked the minister, why are these guys appearing so invalid? So he told, this is called old age. And why is that fellow being lifted on a stretcher and being carried? And in the Vedic times, even now in villages, you will find they carry a dead body in a stretcher kind of thing, correct? No? In a public open place, you will see flowers put on the top of the body. People also walk, some 100, 200 people walk with it. Dankatakara, you seen that? They put, play. Why they play kettle drums and everything, instruments and all. Then people come out to see what is it. And then people say, hey, he died? Yesterday night I talked to him 9 o'clock. Next day morning he's gone. So immediately it gives a warning call to who? Everybody. Those who are living. Hey, this body anytime will be gone. It'll be taken to the graveyard, it'll be burnt to ashes. But nowadays everything is, they have electric, what do you call it, crematorium. Correct? So a person puts his grandpa in the ambulance van and he takes him to the electric crematorium. And then they give a nice packet, decently packed. And then he takes a flight and goes and puts in Ganga and comes back. Correct? So nobody even, people only know this grandpa was here, now he's not there. That's all they know. They don't get to see the reality. They hide the reality completely. Correct? No? But if you are living in a village or a town, this is also a part of the ceremony. You have to see. Just like a marriage party goes, there is one type of dankadakadang, another dankadakadang is at the time of death. Isn't it? Both you get to see. Tamasha. In this world, people can have, there is time for fun. There is time when the fuel runs out in the body also. When the body is finished. So one has to see. Similarly, many times, if you don't go to hospitals and see, you don't exactly know what is old age and suffering. Like one time our devotee had to take one devotee to hospital. In a Vijay hospital he took. So he saw people are all lying in the beds, all the beds were full. Everybody screaming, oh, no, somebody's hand is kept like this, somebody's leg is kept like that, and somebody's putting all tubes in the nose and mouth and ears everywhere. So this devotee said, oh, I was just half an hour there. Now my head is getting chakkar now. He said, it's a horrible scene. And also our hospital has a smell also. Have you seen that? Yeah, it's horrible. Is there anybody who want to stay there for some time? Isn't it? And doctors have to stay in day in and day out there. Correct, no? That's the field of work. So one has to see the old age. That like Siddhartha Gautam Buddha saw that. Everybody's body gets old, it gets diseased, it gets. Actually, many of us, as young people, we may not know, but when you get older, you will see that some people's the urinary tract doesn't function well. They have to have a catheter, something called catheter separately, where they have to pass urine through that, or they put a hole in the bladder and directly they have to remove it. Some people's heart is not functioning properly. They have to put a stent. You know that? They put a stent. They put one metal piece kind of thing for the heart to continue functioning. It's similar to some people's hands is broken. They put a steel rod inside. You know that? Because the machine only that is. So you will find every part of the body can give very strange complications. Of course, we don't want any of us to have any complication. Go back to Godhead before this body falls off. But the point is, one has to sometimes open one's eyes and see the nature of the material body. Actually, that will very much help us in defeating the propensity for sense gratification. Actually, when one is very observant about the nature of the horrible nature of the material body, how horrible this body is, all the 9 holes of the body, they all emanate foul-smelling substances, whether it is the nasty nose or the stool or the urine or the vomit or anything like that. So there is nothing very glorious about this material body except one thing. One thing is body can be engaged in Krishna service. Padau Hare Kshetra Padanusarpane Shiro Hrishikesha Padabhivandane. As it says, every part of the body. Savayamana Krishna Padarvindyo Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanuvarane. The material body is horrible, but it can be used in Krishna service and sanctified. That's the best thing. Otherwise, nothing. If somebody doesn't use it in Krishna service, the body is only horrible. Therefore, he will say later on the point about making the best out of bad bargain. Take her, you got the body now. So you can't commit suicide also. If you commit suicide again, you'll become a ghost. Then some people are extremely frustrated in the human body. They give up the human body by committing suicide. They hover as a ghost for thousands of years. And the ghost wants to drink water, eat food, but it has no facility. Because subtle body is there, microprocessor is there, no servo motors. You can't act out what you want. The ghostly existence is very painful. Correct, no? So in this way, even if one commits suicide, one cannot get liberated from this body. The only way to get liberated is to purify ourselves by chanting the holy name and practicing spiritual life. And then one gets liberated once and for all. Therefore Krishna says, look at the world. Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha dosha anudarshanam. Why the word anu is used? You are not expected to only develop frustration by seeing these four things, but you should positively engage in devotional service. Therefore the anu means in Guru Parampara. You should see the way the acharyas have seen. Don't see it only as suffering. Like one fellow was giving a 6-session course. So 2 of the sessions he spoke on 28 hells. Session 5 and 6. And he was preaching in a village. Later on he told me, Prabhuji, I gave lecture. I told them, anybody choose tobacco, they have a special hell for them, where they'll be taken. And if they drink liquor, they'll go. I said, hey, if you are giving to newcomers, why are you frightening them so badly? Yes, Prabhuji, in this village, everybody smokes, drinks, and they are doing all this. I said, I don't think any acharya has emphasized only on the hell. Isn't it? Hell is also mentioned in the Bhagavatam. But immediately in the 6th canto beginning, you find Parikshit is feeling pity for those souls who are suffering in hell. And there is a way out of the hell by chanting holy name and taking to devotion service. Therefore, we should not exclusively talk only about the sufferings. We should also talk about the solution to suffering, which is given by Guru Parampara. Therefore, he says, Anudarshanam, he says. Dukkha dosha. Anudarshanam means, our seeing the sufferings in the world should not lead to moroseness or, loneliness or frustration or hopelessness in such a way that one wants to end one's life or something. Correct, no? Rather, our seeing the suffering should lead us to run to Krishna's lotus feet. Then your Anudarshanam is very proper. Next one.
5. Detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest.
So the previous class I showed you one verse about Ambarish Maharaj, isn't it? Griheshu dareshu suteshu bandhushu dvipotamasyandanavaji vastushu. Remember that? Akshaya ratnabaranambaradishu anantakosheshu akarot asanmatim. That verse says, Griheshu, he had a big palace and home and everything. Dareshu, wives. Suteshu, children, sons. Bandhushu, relatives and friends. And Dvipottama means big, large elephants. Syandana means the chariots. Vaji, Vastushu, Vaji is the horses. And many other paraphernalia of the palace. And Ananta Akshaya Ratnambarana Adishu he's saying Ananta Kosheshu means inexhaustible treasury. And Ratna Abarana means the ornaments and large beautiful dresses of the king, embroidered dresses, very gorgeous dresses of the king, everything he had. And Akaraut Asanmati, he saw them all like a piece of stone. He didn't care a fig about them. So therefore when we say, one should not get entangled in wife, children, family and home and everything. Ambarish Maharaj was living in the middle of them, but he was not entangled. Correct, no? That's a amazing thing. Yeah, go ahead.
One should not be attached to more than the necessities of life required for spiritual advancement.
Yeah, that is actually called as Yavadartam Javahari. That means, it's called as Yadhicha Labha Santushto. I'll just show you one verse. Bhagavatam. See, when Brahmana went to meet Krishna to give this thing, letter of Rukmini. That time Krishna tells how a Brahmana should be. Very beautiful verse. See, Supreme Lord is asking him. Kachit Vijavara Sreshtha Dharmaste Vriddha Sammatah Vartate Nati Krichrena Santushta Manasas Sada. 10.52.30. Ready?
The Supreme Lord said, O best of exalted Brahmanas, are your religious practices sanctioned by senior authorities proceeding without great difficulty? Is your mind always fully satisfied?
That means, here he says here, Kachit Dvija Varasreshta, Brahmana, Dharmaste Vriddha Sammatah, Vartate na ati krichrena. That means chanting should not be too difficult for us. If chanting is very difficult for us, there is some serious problem. That means we have too much of false ego, or we are not attentive in our sadhu life. Chanting should be, of course, some endeavor has to be there, but it has to be very, we have to perform the devotional activity. Susukam kartam, avyayam. It should not be kichrena. It should not be considered as a burden. Like if somebody says, Prabhu, temple life is wonderful except the morning program. If somebody says, that means he is in a wrong place. Correct, no? That means kichrena. He's finding in kichrena, correct, no? He should actually feel that the right thing is wonderful morning program, but due to my own false ego and my material attachments, I don't like it or whatever. Therefore, he's saying, is your dharma going on without much struggle? Santushta manasa sada. Are you satisfied in your own situation, ashram? If somebody is always hankering, oh, they're in this temple, they're not giving this, they're not giving that. Why don't I have this? Like in those days, we had a very simple formula. Newly joined devotees would give them this pen drive. Pen drive, flash player. Flash player, yeah, they can keep it like this. And then after they grow a little bit, you'll give a jukebox kind of thing later on. And sorry, the chapati type of thing, round one, what do you call that? That MP3 player we were giving in those days, yeah. And after you grow in almost unity, you have jukebox because you may want to store a lot of lectures in there. So some newly joined devotees said, can I have that one? Jukebox. No, you have to spend 4 or 5 years after which you will get. Why can't I have? Now people argue. That means people are not satisfied with what they are given. So there is always want for more and more. Correct, no? In every, you take brahmacharya ashram, grihastha ashram, vanaprastha sannyas. In every ashram, if you are not careful, our demands may keep increasing. He's saying, Santushta manasada, are you satisfied? Always. Then he's asking, Santushto yarhi varteta, brahmano yena kenachit, ahiyamanas swadharmat, sahyasya kila kamaduk. Yeah.
When a Brahmana is satisfied with whatever comes his way and does not fall away from his religious duties, those very religious principles become his desire cow, fulfilling all his wishes.
Again, he's saying for the second time, satisfied. Brahmana should be satisfied. If you're satisfied, Krishna will send you so many things without even you're asking, he's saying. And if you're not satisfied, you will always be hankering. And you see, here is an explanation for an unsatisfied person. Asantushto asakrit lokan apnotyapi sureshwaraha. See, if you are a dissatisfied person, you will go from planet to planet, hankering for different enjoyments. And even after you become Sureshwara, means what? Indra also. Still you will be not satisfied. Like that is saying, if you are dissatisfied now. Akinchano api santushtaha shete sarvanga vijwaraha. Understand the meaning? If you are akinchana and you are very satisfied, shete means sleep. Sarvanga vijwaraha. With no anxiety, you can sleep peacefully. All of you getting good sleep? Yeah. If you're getting good sleep, that means you are akinchan and you are santushta. And if you lie down and you are awake for 2 hours, that means you are not santushta. You are not akinchan. Correct, no? Some programming is going on in the head, planning. Shete sarvanga vijwaraha. Can sleep peacefully. Did it?
An unsatisfied Brahmana wanders restlessly from one planet to another, even if he becomes king of heaven. But a satisfied Brahmana, though he may possesses nothing, rests peacefully, all his limbs free of distress.
Because he has nothing to worry about. Generally, fruity mentality is there. We always think about, tomorrow I will do this, day after I will do this, I will prove myself, I am who I am and all that. But he has no Brahmana satisfied. Vipran salapa santushtan sadhun bhuta surattaman nirankarinaha shantan namasye shirasa krit. Krishna says, I bow down my head. Who is saying? Krishna is saying. Lord says, I bow down to that Vipra, that Brahmana. Who? Swalabha santushtan. Whatever is given to him is satisfied. Only rice dal is satisfied. Pulav kadi rasamalai puran poli, satisfied. Anything. Whatever you give is satisfied. He has no hankering. He is not asking, Prabhuji, last week's sweet was not made. Why? He is asking. And then you ask the kitchen, they will say, Prabhuji, you see, the next week we have 2 festivals are coming in the same week. So this week's sweet we are making next week, so we didn't make it. Otherwise, people are sometimes hankering, correct, no? And sadhun bhuta surittaman is always well-wisher of all living entities. Nirankarinaha. He has no false ego. Shantan. He has no hankerings. Peaceful and satisfied. Namaste. I bow down to such a Brahmana, Krishna says. Read it. Not only bow, I repeatedly bow, he is saying. Asakrit means repeatedly, again and again I bow, Krishna is saying. Can you just picturize Krishna getting up and offering obeisances again and again to the Brahmana? Who is that Brahmana?
I repeatedly bow my head in respect to those Brahmanas who are satisfied with their lot. Saintly, prideless, and peaceful, they are the best well-wishers of all living beings.
Yeah, they are saintly, they are free from false pride, they are peacefully situated. Yeah, this is okay. Come back to. So this is about for the 13th point. Read it again.
One should not be attached to more than the necessities of life required for spiritual advancement.
Yeah, lesser you possess, more time for Krishna you get. Because more you possess, then the time maintenance time is also more. Correct, no? So then, like for example, instead of a 2 BHK, you take a 3 BHK house. Then there is more space. Like one fellow took an independent bungalow, even more space. Then the wife told him, such a big house like a playground, you have to fill it up with something. Get some sofa, get some TV, get some sofa, get some fridge, get some washing machine. Get something and put. Otherwise, the hall looks very empty. It doesn't look good. Correct. Then after they all come, they all catch dust. Correct, no? Then you have to remove dust. Then you have to maintain it. Then you have to employ servants. One servant for cleaning the house. One servant for cooking in the kitchen. One servant for washing the pots. One servant for gardening. One servant for taking child to school. Some people have 10 servants. Correct. And then you have to pay for all of them. In this way, the more you possess, more maintenance time. Just like the simple story we had now, our copy in Brahmachari. Then he got what? A cat. And to give milk to the cat. And to maintain the cow. He had a servant to maintain the cow. But servant was not doing his job. To supervise the servant and to take care of everything, he got a wife. Yeah. So in this way, now after all these things came, then he became a jamindar only. Why? Because then actually now he's married, he has children, he has big estate now. Everything all increased, expenditures increased. So the brahmachari turned into a big jamindar. So Guruji came. Where is my disciple? Has someone driven my disciple away and built this big house? And then he understood the disciple only has become jamindar now. So in this way you find, don't be attached to more than the basic necessities. Little brahmachari means you have little prasadam and one corner to sleep, just one chatai. If there is no pillow, you can keep your hand only. Bahu susiddhe upaparanakyam. Krishna has given you bahu. Have the hand. What is the need of upaparana? Means pillow. What the need is saying? Satyandalakyam purdana patriya. If you combine two hands, you get a patra. What is the need of any other vessel? He is saying. Yeah. Some brahmacharis have only one stainless steel box only. In that they put everything. Chapati, sabji, rice, dal, sweet also they put. Yeah, all in one. So it's like Bhiksha Patra. Of course, there is a difference between the brahmachari's simplicity and grihastha simplicity. Because grihastha has a wife, he has to have some social connectivity also with other people. But grihasthas can also be very simple. If they keep the home very simple, when the expenditures are less. I had gone in my travels at one temple. One husband and wife are working in the same school. Husband is Sanskrit teacher, wife is a Hindi teacher. And they are earning 24,000 both. How much? 48,000. That's all. And they have a small house, just one 2 BHK house, which is just about 2-3 minutes from the school. They just live there. They have a big altar at home. And the husband is an engineer, but he was telling, in the school increment also is not much in salary, but I'm happy. He said, why? Because we both are able to manage with what we are earning, and we are getting a lot of time for Krishna consciousness. It's like 9 to 3 is a school, and 4 o'clock is back. 3:30 is back. So he has ample of time in the evening and morning. All sadhana, everything gets over. So they are leading just like in ashram life. They're leading. So the whole point is what satisfied person can be a person who can get ample of time for spiritual life also. And then 14th point.
One should not be more attached to wife, children, and home than the revealed scriptures ordain.
Yeah. Actually, one should be responsible to wife, children, and home. But one should not become attached to them. Anybody can say the difference between responsible and attached? Yes, give the mic to.
Responsible means we will provide them what their need is. But when we become attached, we will provide whatever they desire, whatever they want.
But people say, oh really? Whatever they want, you provide. Such a good husband, such a good father, people may say. No? See, when you say responsible husband means, he will not only provide food, clothing, shelter for the wife and children, he will also make them Krishna conscious. Guru nasasya, sajana nasasya, pitana nasasya, janani nasasya, daivam natasya, na patisha sasya, na mochayed, yat samupedam mrityam. If he cannot deliver his wife and children from birth and death and take them back to Godhead, he's a useless leader, the father or husband. he says. But at the same time, besides that, he will also provide them food, clothing, shelter, all those things. A responsible husband. The attached husband means he cuts off his connection with Guru. And for him, the wife is the deity. And he will put nice sari for her, nice ornaments, and go around and around pradakshina. He'll be orbiting around. Then a wife, children, family, we will all go together to movie. We will all go together to European tour. Huh? We will all go together to see Disneyland. We'll go to SL World. We'll see Taj Mahal. Huh? So they may go here, there. For him, which is the center? Family is the center. And they have nothing to give and take with God. Then he becomes attached to wife and children. Like Pururava became attached to Urvashi. Even he worshipped Vishnu with a yajna, but told Vishnu, please get my Urvashi back. His attachment, even after seeing Vishnu, still he wants Urvashi. Attachment. You say, no? Like Dhritarashtra. Dhrita means firm. Rashtra means attached to the kingdom. That attachment is condemned. So, especially if you are spiritualist, one should not be attached. Huh? Next one. Even-mindedness.
Even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events.
Yeah.
15. One should not be happy or distressed over desirables and undesirables, knowing that such feelings are just created by the mind.
Yeah. So this is about I like and I don't like. You give some devotee a service. But I don't like this service. Prabhuji, Friday afternoon Maha cleaning. No, I don't like the Maha cleaning. Okay, Prabhuji, evening there is Rasagulla. Oh, I like that. So if you have likes and dislikes, one cannot advance in spiritual life. A cultured person means he knows that there are many things we may not like, but we have to do. Like when you're a small boy at home, they may say, please take your grandmother to hospital. And the boy may say, no, I have to go to play cricket. You can play, but first you take her to hospital and come, then you can play. So sometimes responsibility comes. So you have to put aside pleasure for the sake of following your duty. Correct, no? Like examination is coming, so one has to put aside one's playtime and study. In the same manner, in spiritual life also, there are many things we do, not because we like them very much, but we are supposed to do. It's our duty to do, and it is purifying to do, and elevating to do. And by doing it, it's good for us to do that, eventually to advance in spiritual life. There are many things we are doing. So one should throw aside likes and dislikes are all stocked in our mind. Kick the mind away. Arana ko riho mane. So instead of that, what you do? Guru Maka Padma Vakya. That is the meaning of this. Focus your attention on Guru's instruction and throw away your foolish mind, which always is like a naughty child saying, I like this, I don't like it. I don't like to chant. I don't like to get up early in the morning. I want to sleep more. Like the mind keeps saying. You say, naughty mind, get out. And I'm going to follow the Guru's order. Yeah.
Constant and unalloyed devotion to me.
Yes.
One should become an unalloyed devotee of the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna and serve him with rapt attention.
This is the goal of all culture that we're talking about. All different culture is ultimately aimed at this one point, which is to become unalloyed devotee of Krishna. Otherwise, na utpadiye yadiratim shramaye. If somebody is a perfect gentleman, very humble, polite in speech, but he's not a devotee of Krishna, Shastra say his life is simply useless. They say, because all such external drama is useless. One doesn't become a devotee of the Lord. Yeah.
Aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people.
This means that solitary place means, you should be able to pull out yourself from the atmosphere of prajalpa, from the atmosphere of bad association, like a padma patramivam basa, Krishna says, So we should be like a lotus in a kichad, in a dirty pool. So there may be dirty things all around, but lotus is always very pure. Everybody should remain like that. And also the general mass of people talk gramya katha. They talk about cinema, they talk about cinema actor, actresses, they talk about cricket, they talk about politics, they talk about money, they talk about women, man-woman relationship. So people talk about all these things. Now I heard that due to this corona thing, many people who are inside their homes, they repeatedly watch the corona-related information, videos. Now they're getting corona phobia now. There are people. Because of now when they lie down also corona is flying in their dreams. Like football type of thing with protrusions. They're getting dreams of corona. Yeah. So that is because that is their absorption. So therefore one should be free from one has detached from such kinds of material absorption of the people. That is actual detachment. Go ahead. You have seen in train and all people talk about who will come to post and all. You have seen that, no? Or people exchange scores. What is happening to India Pakistan match? What is the score level now? All that people are doing Shravanam and Kirtanam, but they don't talk about God. So we should keep away from such association. Go ahead.
One should develop a liking for residence in a secluded place with a calm and quiet atmosphere, favorable for spiritual culture, and one should avoid congested places where non-devotees congregate.
Yeah. But devotees of the Lord still live in cities to reach out Harinam Sankirtan in the streets, distribute Prabhupada books. Otherwise, you have nothing to give and take with nasty cities. Yeah.
Accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. One should become a scientist or philosopher and conduct research into spiritual knowledge, recognizing that spiritual knowledge is permanent, whereas material knowledge ends with the death of the body.
Yeah. Tattva Jnana Artha Darshanam. Yes. This we have discussed in the earlier one. Yeah, godless society arises from illusion, and the result of such illusion is lamentation. Yes.
All these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. These 18 items combine to form a gradual process by which real knowledge can be developed. Except for these, all other methods are considered to be in the category of nescience.
Yeah, correct. So one should conduct, where he says that research into the spiritual knowledge, just like Nachiketas, for example. When he met Yamaraj, there's a long story cut short. I'm telling you the part where, the last part, when he asked Yamaraj for 3 boons. He asked one boon, of course, he asked to return me back to my father, and the second boon he asked for how do you perform yajna to go to heaven, and the third question he asked about what is eternal life, which is beyond this world of death and sorrow. What is the world beyond? I wanted to know. So Yamaraj was shocked by this question, how a small boy is asking. He told Nachiketas that, Nachiketas, I can give you, golden chariots, very beautiful horses, elephants, fair maiden, and a vast land on earth to rule, and tens and hundreds of servants and daughters. And you can have a, heavenly, you can have earthly or heavenly rule also. You can have, I can provide you all of this. But please release me from the question that you asked me. So Nachiketa thought for a while and said, what is the use of all these benedictions that you are giving me? Because as you get older, our senses will become weak. And one will not be able to enjoy the food as you ate before. One cannot enjoy the senses. Power of the senses will become weak. And besides that, because you are the Lord of Death, who can be a better teacher than you to tell me what is beyond death? Therefore, I cannot release you from this question. I want to answer only to this question. Tell me what is beyond death. Where do the perfected beings go? What is that place? And then Nachiketas and Yamaraj told him, even the gods of the yore, which means the gods of the ancient times, even they raised this question and they couldn't find the answer. Because those people whose eyes are fixed on sense gratification and pleasure in this material world, they will never understand the answer to that question. Actually, that's on a liberated platform. Since you are very adamant about it and you are ready to forego the material pleasures of this world, therefore I am releasing the secret to you, Yamaraj said. And then Yamaraj said there are 2 paths, he said, 2 roads. One path is path of pleasure, one path is path of endless bliss. And in the road to path of material pleasure, there's a heavy traffic. Bam, 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 bam. Everybody wants to go in that road. Congested road it is. People are in this world struggling for sense gratification. And in the other path, it's a Kali road, 1 or 2 fellows are going. Although the road is Kali, what is the road? Servant road. He said that's the path of everlasting bliss if you go in that direction. And that is the place where he says about the chariot of the body and the 5 horses or 5 senses, and the intelligence, the driver. That's where it comes in the Upanishad. So this way Nachiketa has actually inquired into the philosophical truths about the soul and its destination, how the soul is trapped in the body, how the soul suffers varieties of miseries in the body. So we should be interested in this. It's very important. Okay, this is over. Okay, now come back to the book. Okay, these 18 items.
These 18 items combine to form a gradual process by which real knowledge can be developed. Except for these, all other methods are considered to be in the category of nescience. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a great Acharya, maintained that all forms of material knowledge are merely external features of the illusory energy, and that by culturing them, one becomes no better than an ass.
Anybody knows that song? Vidyara Vilase, Katayana Kala, correct? Jada Vidya, Mayara Vaibhava, Jivara? Yeah. तुम्हारे तुम्हारा बजने रे बाधा, and then give the mic to him now. How the song begins? Is it Vidya Vilasa Katanakala? You can see here. Here is this one. You can see this one. See. विद्यार विलासे काटाय नो काल परम साहसे आमी তোমার চরণ না বাজিনো কভু এখন শরণ তুমি পড়িতে পড়িতে ভরসা বাড়িল জ্ঞানে গতি হবে মানি से आशा विफल से ज्ञान दुर्बल से ज्ञान अज्ञान जानी जड़ विद्यायत मायार वैभव तुम्हार भजने बाधा मोह जनमिया अनित्य संसारे जीव के कोरये गाधा कैसे जड़ विद्या यथा मायार वैभव he's saying तुम्हारा भजन है बाधा. In this world the study about material science is simply a display of illusion, and he said it's a very big stumbling block in our bhajan. Why? Because Jada Vidya teaches you many wrong things. That your ancestors were apes and everything came from nothing, things like that. So therefore the people who are educated, they find it a bigger struggle to understand the truths from the scriptures, and they become proud for nothing. Yeah. Like once a frog got a coin, no? He sat on the coin and he thought, I'm a very big millionaire now. And the elephant was coming. Elephant how it walks, moving his trunk like this. And the frog actually thought, I am the owner of the entire lane. Hey, elephant, how did you come into this lane? Now that I am a millionaire, this entire lane belongs to me. And the elephant only could hear some scream of somebody. Who is making some noise? He couldn't hear. And then the elephant got closer and the elephant saw this fellow is raising hand and making big noise. The elephant just turned, took a U-turn. And then he put the book like that from backside. What do you call that? He passed this to. The whole stool came on the top of the frog. And the frog was submerged in it. Inside that. With great difficulty came out, you can imagine. And the elephant coolly walked ahead. See, the elephant represents, the material energy. Very powerful. With 3 modes. And the frog represents this kind of so-called educated people who are proud of their small achievements. Correct, no? So, moha janamiya anitya samsare jiva ke kore gada. Se ye gada hoye samsara bodha vahino anika kala. वार्धक्य खाना शक्तिर अभावे किछु नहीं लागे भालो जीवन यातना होइलो खाना से विद्या विद्या भेलो अविद्यार ज्वाला घटिलो विषम से विद्या होइलो सेलो तोमार चरण बिना किछु धन संसारे नाचे आर Kati Vinoda Jada Vidya Chadi Tuvapada Kore Sara. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Continue reading. Where we left. So, why is it an exaggeration to say modern education has made man into an ass? It is not an exaggeration. Why? Because after you can see in our school days, we used to carry a big bag, load of books on our back. Correct, no? That is it not like a donkey carrying heavy weight on the back of your backpack. Correct, no? And after going to college, you find nowadays there are heavy assignments in the college. Huh? Yeah, there is a lot of lab work, assignments, submissions, and there are 50 papers that you have to study. And most of the subjects you don't use in the company when you go. Huh? But you have to still write them, slog in the college and in the homework, submitting assignments. And after that, a person joins a company where he works from 9 to 9 at least nowadays. So traveling long distance, Prabhupada says, 2 hours up, 2 hours down, working another 10, 12 hours. So modern day lifestyle, just for the sake of food, clothing, shelter, the life has become almost like an ass-like with all the education. And people are doing so much hard work unrelated to the soul, unrelated to the relationship of soul and super soul. So for the goal of life, they are not doing anything. But for filling up their belly, hungry belly, which animals and birds fill it up without earning a degree also. Bird never went to college to earn a degree. The bird never went to company to punch a card. Still they get their daily food. They get their accommodation. But man is doing such a hard work, therefore it is condemned so badly. Read it.
The same principle is found here in Sri Isopanishad. By advancement of material knowledge, modern man is simply being converted into an ass. Some materialistic politicians in spiritual guise decry the present system of civilization as satanic, but unfortunately they do not care about the culture of real knowledge as it is described in the Bhagavad Gita. Thus, they cannot change the satanic situation.
Yeah, that means sometimes politicians may not take support of Bhagavad Gita knowledge, but they may actually say that we want to change the situation of our country. We have this problem, that problem, but they go for another material solution. There's one. Therefore, Einstein clearly said the problems created by one level of intelligence of human cannot be solved with the same intelligence. He said you will need a spiritual intelligence to solve the material problems. Like that, he said. Go ahead, next para.
In the modern society, even a boy thinks himself self-sufficient and pays no respect to elderly men. Due to wrong type of education being imparted in our universities, boys all over the world are giving their elders headaches. Thus, Sri Isopanishad very strongly warns that the culture of nescience is different from that of knowledge. The universities are, so to speak, centers of nescience only. Consequently, scientists are busy discovering lethal weapons to wipe out the existence of other countries. University students today are not given instructions in the regulative principles of brahmacharya, celibate student life, nor do they have any faith in any scriptural injunctions. Religious principles are taught for the sake of name and fame only, and not for the sake of practical action. Thus, there is animosity not only in social and political fields, but in the field of religion as well.
Many things Prabhupada is saying, important things saying here. First is saying, earlier it is said, no, amanitvam. Amanitvam means being humble, but Prabhupada doesn't say be humble, he doesn't say. He says, give respect to others. Even if you're not humble also, no problem. But at least learn the art of practicing the culture of giving respect to others. At least make that austerity. Make an effort like that he's saying. But modern day students are not even taught to give respect also. He is saying. He's very proud of his own meager qualification. Another thing he's saying here is, they are giving their elders headaches. How are they giving elders headaches? Boys are eloping with girls. Boys are smoking cigarettes. They are drinking liquor. They are eating drugs now. Drug peddling is increasing all over the world. Ruining the body. And the parents have to take the boy to the drug rehabilitation center and admit him. Spend so much money. In the same manner, the boys are driving cars very rapidly, very fastly, causing accidents. Or some boys are committing suicides, jumping off from the buildings. Or some boys are looting the parents from home. In this way, boys are giving elders headaches. Headaches means, the college will call the parents and say, your son is doing like this, sudhara usko. Then the parents get a headache. Yeah. And another point he says is the universities are centers of nations. The scientists are busy discovering atomic weapons. Like one country is producing a doctorate. See, initially they taught how to kill a mosquito. Then they taught you how to get bacon spray and kill the cockroaches. Then later on, you know, they made dynamite, and then they actually invented dynamite for breaking the mountains and all. But finally, they started using it for killing the humans also. Yeah. Then all this AK-47 and all that terrorist equipments came. So in this way, you find the advanced science goes for creating bombs to throw in the neighborhood countries. You will see that always. So then what is the use of advancement? You are harmful to other children of God. Huh? You are not able to see everybody as a child of God and see. Imagine the people in the neighborhood country are also your brothers and sisters. Is it not true? Is it that only your countrymen are your men and the opposite countrymen are your enemies? That type of. Therefore, the next part I talks about nationalism. Nationalism means you draw a line between your country. See, was Pakistan another country before 1947? Correct now? Was Burma, Bangladesh another country before? But now you will see that just because they made a marking now, they feel such enmity towards the neighborhood country. You can see that. So that's what he's saying. It's all based on superficial understanding on the bodily platform, unlike the spiritual understanding, which is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Because then another thing Prabhupada says here, they are not given instruction on brahmacharya, celibate student life. So therefore they have no dhriti, they don't have, they don't have viveka buddhi, vichara shakti, dharana shakti, they don't have prajna. Prajna means contemplative intelligence. So one has contemplative intelligence, one can see through life and see what is right, what is wrong very nicely. So the boys have no practice of brahmacharya. Men and women are mixing like cats and dogs nowadays. So they have no training. Nor do they have any faith in scriptures and scriptural rules, regulations. Because there is no emphasis on that education only. Like once in a college, the teachers are all called together and said, put up a value education course, but don't talk one word about God. So one teacher said, it's like saying, please bring a body without head. Is it useful to have a body without head? Without hand also there are people living. Without leg also people are living. But without head, have you seen somebody living? Yeah. So value education without God is like that only. Correct, no? Yeah. And also even if religious principles are taught for sake of name and fame only, like one school arranged all the parents of all the children should come from America. Children should come to India, and one organization arranged it. It's called as Worship of the Parents program. So all the parents are made to sit in chairs. The children have to wash the feet of mother and father, and they have to put flowers and they put their head on the feet of the parents. So they're teaching and many grown-up children now. Those children are all abroad now, America, London, and all. They have come back to India to bow down to parents and go. So once in a year they're supposed to do that kind of puja for the parents. So it looks like a very nice external ritual, but children are eating beef in America, and parents are doing puja party here. So what kind of obedience is that? Parents actually want them to lead a pure life that they are not leading. Once in a year you come and wash their feet and put flowers and bow down externally. Does it make any great obedience? You understand? Therefore, religious rituals are all mostly superficial, he says. They taught for the sake of name and fame only. There is no true practical action at all. Like Ganapati Baba Moria, they celebrate in Pune. You have seen that, correct now? Is there anything religious about it? What kind of people are drinking liquor, people are putting rock music in that. So it's conducted for name and fame. Who made the biggest Ganesh in Pune? My Ganesh, we took him in big lorry. So politicians are competing. Mera Ganesh tumhare se bada hai. So it is a question of, it's a tug of war between ahankara, nothing to do with, you understand. No? Similarly, some politician conducts the Dahi Handi festival. Is there any element of Krishna Bhakti in it? They keep 2 lakhs, 3 lakh competition price. You've seen that? Correct, no? Why simply make a big pyramid, somebody falls on the top and breaks his head and dies. It has happened also like that, correct, no? So these are all called as the religious principle for the sake of name and fame. Because they can put a big billboard with their big faces, so and so is organizing or whatever. Crazy. So in this way, modern times, in the name of religion, so many things are going on. Therefore, there's animosity in social and political fields. Then Prabhupada talks about nationalism. Read it quickly, Prabhupada.
Nationalism has developed in different parts of the world due to the cultivation of nescience by the general people. No one considers that this tiny earth is just a lump of matter floating in immeasurable space along with many other lumps. In comparison to the vastness of space, these material lumps are like dust particles in the air.
Such a beautiful explanation. It's dust particles in air, insignificant.
Because God has kindly made these lumps of matter complete in themselves, they are perfectly equipped with all necessities for floating in space. The drivers of our spaceships may be very proud of their achievements, but they do not consider the supreme driver of these greater, more gigantic spaceships called planets.
Go ahead.
There are innumerable suns and innumerable planetary systems also. As infinitesimal parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, we small creatures are trying to dominate these unlimited planets. Thus, we take repeated birth and death and are generally frustrated by old age and disease. The span of human life is scheduled for about 100 years, although it is gradually decreasing to 20 or 30 years. Thanks to the culture of nescience, befooled men have created their own nations within these planets in order to grasp sense enjoyment more effectively for these few years. Such foolish people draw up various plans to render national demarcations perfectly, a task that is totally impossible. Yet for this purpose, each and every nation has become a source of anxiety for others. More than 50% of a nation's energy is devoted to defense measures and thus spoiled. No one cares for the cultivation of real knowledge, yet people are falsely proud of being advanced in both material and spiritual knowledge.
Yeah. Prabhupada says India and China were good friends before, but in 1964 Prabhupada said, China is fighting with India for a desolate land, which is non-cultivable land. Foolishly. Why? Because earlier they were God-fearing, pure and simple, Prabhupada says. Now they have become godless, impure and complicated. So in this way, the nations were peaceful in those days, but then when people forget God, they become impure and duplicitous. Then they fight for, like even in families you must have seen, brother fighting for taking a bigger property. So terrible fights happen in families when property division comes, generally, because God is not the center. Then people fight tooth and nail. Same with nationalism, he is saying. So in this way, so Prabhupada is talking about bodily consciousness, then he talks about the boys' improper culture, students, and then he's talking about bogus religions, then he's talking about nationalism here. And read further.
Sri Isopanishad warns us of this faulty type of education, and the Bhagavad Gita gives instructions as to the development of real knowledge. This mantra states that the instructions of Vidya, knowledge, must be acquired from a Dhira. A Dhira is one who is not disturbed by material illusion. No one can be undisturbed unless he is perfectly spiritually realized, at which time one neither hankers...
2.13, what is that? Dhiras tatra namuhyata. That means one is not disturbed by illusion. He can see through the illusion of the world to the spiritual realities, namely the soul, super soul, and the relationship. You can clearly see that.
Adhira is one
and he
who
can
is
also see that everything belongs to Krishna. Ishapasyamidam sarvam. And he will also follow the principle of tena bunjita. And he will also follow the Aryan culture and walking the spiritual path. Now go ahead.
No one can be undisturbed unless he is perfectly spiritually realized, at which time one neither hankers nor laments for anything. Adhira realizes...
What is that verse? Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. Yeah.
Adhira realizes that the material body and mind he has acquired by chance through material association are but foreign elements. Therefore, he simply makes the best use of a bad bargain. The material body and mind are bad bargains for the spiritual living entity. The living entity has actual function in the living spiritual world, but this material world is dead. As long as the living spiritual sparks manipulate the dead lumps of matter, the dead world appears to be a living world. Actually, it is the living soul.
Like if you take a gloves and put in the hand and move like this, so it appears the gloves is alive. Is it alive? When I take away the hand, it just falls down. Similarly, right now our body is very alive because we are present. When Atma gets out of the body will be flat on the ground. So the Dhira knows these facts. That verse says, Utkramantam sitam vapi bunjanam va gunanvitam vimudhananu pashyanti jnana chakshushaha shariram yadavapnoti yachapyutkramati ishwaraha grihitvaitani samyati vayuhu gandha nivashayat. These two verses are very important. How the soul enters into this body, how the soul continues to live in the body, how the soul quits the body, and how the soul at the time of death carries the Sugandha Vasanas and Durgandha Vasanas within the mind, the good scripts and bad scripts, and then obtains a body suitable for fulfilling the desires stored in the mind in the next life. These are all observable by a Dhira Purusha. But one who is not a Dhira is a fool. He will only see the material body. Go ahead.
Actually, it is the living souls, the parts and parcels of the Supreme Living Being, who move the world. The Dhiras have come to know all these facts by hearing them from superior authorities and have realized this knowledge by following the regulative principles. To follow the regulative principles, one must take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. The transcendental message and regulative principles come down from the spiritual master to the disciple. Such knowledge does not come in the hazardous way of
Niscient education.
One can become a Dhira only by submissively hearing from a bona fide spiritual master. Arjuna, for example, became a Dhira by submissively hearing from Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead himself. Thus, the perfect disciple must be like Arjuna, and the spiritual master must be as good as the Lord himself. This is the process of learning Vidya, knowledge, from the Dhira, the undisturbed. An Adhira One who has not undergone the training of a dhira cannot be an instructive leader. Modern politicians who pose themselves as dhiras are actually adhiras, and one cannot expect perfect knowledge from them. They are simply busy seeing to their own remuneration in dollars and cents. How then can they lead the mass of people to the right path of self-realization? Thus, one must hear submissively from a dhira in order to attain actual education.
Main qualification for a dhira is he has heard in Guru Parampara by surrendering to a bona fide spiritual master and hearing the knowledge regularly. That is the first step. And second step is, then after hearing knowledge, what is the second step? Follow the regulative principles given by, we say now what that sato vritti. Sato vritti means sadhu vritti. We should follow in the footsteps of the acharyas, what they have taught. First hear the knowledge, then follow the knowledge, then get the vision of the difference between body and soul. It's called self-realization. And then see the world of illusion as illusion clearly, and don't be enamored by it. That's the third step. That means first hear knowledge, then practice that knowledge by sticking to the regulative principles, and thirdly get the vision for self-realization. So this is all possible for Adhira. Adhira is just the opposite. His focus, instead of hearing from Dhira Purushas, is a bluff. He may be bluffing on his own something, and his focus is, the money and the material energy, material advancement, material successes. So he is Adhira. So in this way, one should hear from Adhira. That's the conclusion of this. And Adhira is, his main qualification is not disturbed. He clearly can see the difference between material body and the soul. And he is undisturbed because he has heard the knowledge and has applied the knowledge. And iti shushrumadhiranam yenastat vichachakshire. He has the right vision. So we hurriedly covered the last part. I'll explain a little bit in the next, along with the next mantra. Shri Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So we'll stop here. We'll meet next week. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Upanishad ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol.